Greetings to all of you ladies and gentlemen. Dear friends, it's a pleasure to continue meeting you again in episode B of the series Reburial, a very captivating and lengthy story by Kevin Trongley, featured on True Ghost Stories. This evening, we are truly honored to invite you to join us for content of episode B. This story is shown through the narration of Ding Shadow. No changes needed as of now. Earlier, Chin Beo had carefully cleaned up the small room on the second floor to serve as a place for Master Leon to rest. Glancing at the clock, seeing it was past 1 o'clock, Chin said to the master, "Sir, please, follow me upstairs to the room to rest. There's a bathroom up there, along with towels and personal items. I've already replaced everything with new ones." Just as he stood, Master Leon grimaced, raising hand to clutch his forehead. He felt a sharp, intense pain shoot through his head, causing him to stagger and collapse into the chair. Cold sweat dripped both sides of his cheeks. Chin hurriedly asked Master Leon, "Master, are you all right? Is it because you're too tired?" Master Leon's hands trembled slightly, the headache piercing deep into his bones. After a few seconds, Master Leon responded, "Of 9. I'm fine. More than 2 months or so from time to time I have been like this. Could it be that I'm getting old?" The pain came suddenly and disappeared just as quickly, but Master Leon could feel that day by day, the duration of the headaches was lasting little longer than before. Not only that, but every time the headache struck, it felt as if something inside him was undergoing a slight change. Memories that were somewhat cliched became jumbled images of the time spent living in Huang Kim Jiang surfaced. It felt like something was about to be unlocked, though the cause was no longer clear. Master Leon was aware of it, but for him, matters of life and death had never been of great importance. Therefore, even though he knew his body was growing weaker each day, he continued to move forward on the path he himself called the inevitable path of repaying karma. In Bai village, very early the next morning, the crowing of Mr. Ka's rooster echoed loudly. Inside the room, Tuan gently opened his eyes. Looking his lap, Tuan didn't see the tabby cat. Through the window slit, Tuan realized that it was only just dawn outside. Last night, Tuan slept very well. Without no dream. Get out of bed. Tuan pulled aside the curtain and walked out of the room. The door to Mr. Ka's house was already open. Checking the clock, it was only 5:30. Outside, the sky still held a faint mist of early morning. The fresh air of a new day filled the house. Tuan stood out on porch, stretched, took a deep breath, then slowly exhaled, feeling refreshed. From the kitchen came the smell of burning straw. By the water tank outside, Mr. Ka reached out to pick up a basin and wring out a towel. As he walked inside, seeing Tuan, Mr. Ka said, "You're up already? It's still early, why not? Sleep a little longer." Tuan greeted Mr. Ka and replied, "Back home I'm used to waking up around this time, uncle. Yesterday I forgot to tell you that this morning I have to go work over at the brick factory. I need a day off," asked the team leader. "Yesterday I already promised you that I would go to the cemetery this morning. Please wait for me to go inform the team leader." "Okay, uncle." Mrs. Hong came up from the kitchen carrying a basket of steaming hot-boiled sweet potatoes. Mrs. Hong said, "Go to the pond, wash your face first, then eat sweet potatoes to warm up. Wherever you want to go, just go. Your grandfather should eat too." Grandpa Ka sighed as he looked out over the fields, then said, "I forgot. You still have to go to work, don't you? Just go to work. Leave the village matters to me. Then let me calculate." Tuan smiled and replied, I can take a day to think it over. No problem, I came to you. Uncle, my nephew and I talk to each other, especially promises made to those who have passed away with the deceased. The dark night still. Uncle, the team leader is also in our village. The village chief is also in the village. Just me. I go and then I come back. Mr. Ka asked again, "Whose house is it?" Tuan immediately replied, "It's Antu and Chilan's house, uncle. The two of them have been working at the brick factory long." This year, the chief of staff asked for permission. Since the factory is in another village, maybe Perhaps you just simply did not really even notice at all. Mr. Carr nodded thoughtfully, saying, then it's still close by. Take advantage of the early morning bike there. Just ask for leave. My bike is parked next to that mango tree over there. I just put it out there this morning. It's not locked. Just take it and go. Tuan quickly finished up, rushed to the water tank to wash his face, then took Mr. Carr's bicycle and headed to the team house. Leader to ask for leave. Mrs. Hong placed a basket of sweet potatoes at the foot of the wooden pillar out on the porch. Mr. Carr said, in a bit, boil me a pot of voy leaves. Let it cool. Then pour it into a bottle for me. Drink at cemetery. Boiled potatoes and drinking voy tea makes it taste even better. Mrs. Hong nodded and went into the room planning to fold the bedding. Just as Tuan turned on the light, Mrs. Hong panicked and called out to Mr. Carr, dear, come in here and take a look. What's going on? Mr. Carr hurried into the room, following his wife's pointing finger. Mr. Carr saw on the headboard of the bed there were several large scratch marks. Not only, but half of the mat had also been clawed to shreds, looking tattered and worn. Mr. and Mrs. Carr moved closer to take a look. Mrs. Hong wondered aloud. It looks like cat scratches, dear. Perhaps. But how could a cat tear up the mat and even scratch up the bed like this? And yet, Tuan didn't say a word about it. Mr. Carr, irritated, cursed. Damn that cat, where is it? Now. Damn it. It tore up the whole mat. That useless cat. Furious, Mr. Carr stormed out into the yard. He hurried down to the kitchen to look for the tabby cat. Seeing the cat lying right next to the fire, he reached for a stick, intending to hit the cat. Mr. Carr stopped when he saw the tabby cat gently lift its head. It looked at him and let out a few weak meows. Normally, during the day the cat rarely stayed in one place, always climbing around all over, resting when it was time to eat. Its face, however, today indeed. As he looked at the cat lying there, Mr. Carr realized that something seemed to be wrong. Letting go of the stick, Mr. Carr sat down and gently petted it. When he looked at the cat's claws, he saw bruises on the cat's claws. Carr clicked his tongue, gently scolding. It's because you scratched the bed and the projection, so that's why it's like this must be. Not let you off this time. Mr. Carr turned and went back upstairs without. Little did he know that his tabby cat had raised was growing weaker. Its injured leg was gradually turning black. Last night no one knew what the cat had been growling and clawing. But if it hadn't been for the cat, surely Tuan would have been in trouble. At Mr. Tu's house, Ms. Lan asked to take leave of absence, was granted permission. Tuan rode his bike home, stopping home for a bit. After all, Tuan had left since the afternoon yesterday. By now it was already past 6 a.m. The sun was gradually rising. Tuan walked out to the backyard, light incense by grandmother's grave, before heading back to Mr. Truong's house. As soon as he reached the grave, Tuan was startled when he saw the grass grave. He could not understand why. More than half of it had withered. The grave, once covered in lush green grass, was now strangely yellowed and dry. Tuan suddenly got goosebumps as he recalled what Master Luong had said yesterday. Looking at his grandmother's grave, Tuan was more convinced that what Master Luong had warned about was about to happen to him. His hands shaking, he placed incense stick into the incense burner. Tuan froze when he noticed that the incense burner had cracked. Overwhelmed with emotion, Tuan thought, could it be that I'll die just like that? Locked up guy? Grandma, what should I do? Grandma, I really miss the way you used to bake those delicious cookies every Sunday afternoon. Tuan returned Mr. Carr's house. Seeing Tuan dejected, he could walk pushing bike. Mr. Carr was about to ask what's wrong. Couldn't get the day off? Tuan forced a smile, but it was twisted like he was about to cry. Tuan quickly replied, no, I got the day off. Come on, uncle, let's head out now, otherwise it'll get really sunny soon. Mrs. Hong slipped him, Tuan, a sweet potato. Eat up, child. Whatever you do, must eat first. Holding the potato in hand, even though it is still, Tuan didn't feel hungry at the moment. Filled with fear and worry, Tuan had no interest in getting involved in anything else. Mr. Carr, Tuan headed to the cemetery. On the way, Mr. Carr asked Tuan, hey, can you get How to come along too? This morning, I called other families and they agreed, but having a few more young men would still be better. Tuan suddenly blurted out, Uncle Carr, if I die, could you help me exhume my grandmother's grave? The grave for Grandma. Hearing what Tuan said, Mr. Carr was startled. He scolded, you crazy kid. Why are you suddenly talking about dying? I'm old and I'm still not wishing for death, and you're only in your 20s, already tired of living. Tuan looked like he was in a daze. I'm serious. It feels like I'm just about to die. Just as they arrived at Howe's house, Mr. Carr at that moment scolded Tuan. Damn you! No changes needed currently. Tuan said, save the nonsense for later. We're here to call Howe. With that, Mr. Carr leaned into the gate of Howe's house and called out loudly, Howe, are you up yet? Mr. Carr, the village head. Village. The sound of shuffling footsteps came out. It was Mrs. Howe, Howe's mother. Looking at Mrs. Howe, it seems like she is still the poultry such as chickens and ducks seeing. Mr. Carr, Tuan made Mrs. Howe at once. Please ask. Tuan, is that you? Yesterday, where did you and Howe go? That when he came back, he had a high fever and chills all night long. And even now, he's still groaning. Look at him. I have to go buy some medicine for him now. Mr. Carr, right? What did you call him for? Hearing that Howe was sick, Tuan stammered. How sick is he, Mom? Can I go in and visit him? Mrs. Howe nodded. Go ahead. He's sick. He has a fever and can't open his eyes no matter you ask. He doesn't respond, doesn't answer when called. He lies there, wrapped in a blanket, groaning from last night until now. Last night, when Tuan got home, Howe was still perfectly fine. Yet after just one night, he's bedridden and sick. Stepping into the house, Howe was being tended. The younger sister placing a wet cloth. Tuan immediately, gently called out, Howe, it's me, Tuan. Just as Mrs. Howe had said, Howe's eyes were tightly shut, his mouth firmly closed, and he kept groaning softly. No matter how much they called, he wouldn't respond. Mr. Carr started to feel afraid because, according to what Tuan had said, last night before they went home, the two of them had seen the ghost of Mr. Nimnut's father. Gently tugging at Tuan's sleeve, Mr. Carr spoke with a trembling voice, then asked, perhaps, could it be that Ho has been possessed by a ghost? Tuan stayed silent, too scared to say anything. Mrs. Howe came out the bedroom holding a cloth bag. Stay home and please watch over your brother. Go to market. Buy some medicine for your brother. Uncle Carr, please understand my child is sick and I'm worried sick myself. All right, I'm off now. You two just stay here for a moment, all right? Mr. Carr quickly replied, no, it's all right. I also have some things I need to take care of right now. To be honest with you, morning, we must visit the cemetery. The cemetery to arrange for Nut's body to be brought up, and also his father. The boy is still lying comfortably at home right now. Mrs. Howe sighed heavily, looking sorrowful, and replied, yesterday, I heard about it and felt heartbroken. I also heard the neighbors said, disaster with ghosts. It's absolutely terrifying. Tuan softly lowered himself down and pulled the blanket over Howe, then looked closely at both of Howe's arms. Last night, Tuan remembered that at the bridge, Mr. Nim, in anger, took a bundle of incense and struck Howe with it. At that time, Howe even got burned and cried out in pain. Yet today, looking at both arms, no burn or injury to be seen, no trace at all. Tuan, let's go. Once we're done, we can swing by Tam's house afterward. Hurry up. The others in the village are waiting for Mr. Carr. Mr. Carr called out to Tuan. Both of them followed Mrs. Howe out of the house. Mrs. Howe carefully locked the gate behind them, greeted Mr. Carr and Tuan. Mrs. Howe rode off on her bicycle. The market near Mr. Nim's house wasn't too far from Howe's place. From Howe's house, you just had to cross the bridge spanning the canal, then head over to the other side of the cemetery. Whenever you came across a small dirt road, taking the path leads you straight to Mr. Nim's house. Mr. Carr suddenly decided, let's stop by Mr. Nim's house to light incense and pray for him first. But then he remembered last night Tuan and Howe had encountered Mr. Nim's ghost at the bridge, so he got scared. He hurried across the dirt road. Mr. Carr muttered to himself, just yesterday evening, my family and Nim's family were still carrying Mr. Nim's body together to this very spot, and I twisted my ankle even stepping onto that patch of grass by the roadside over there. They continued walking, and soon the uncle and nephew reached the bridge. There were 4 villagers already standing there waiting. When they saw Mr. Carr, the group immediately bowed in greeting. Turns out the village chief was only arriving now, made us stand over here too scared to cross the bridge. Mr. Carr immediately replied, sorry everyone, I just stopped by somewhere for a bit earlier. That's why I arrived late. I know everyone is busy, but given the situation now, it's not like I wanted it to be this way either. The elders have a saying, a funeral is the ultimate expression of duty. Everyone knows the situation of Nim's family. They've endured struggles, better days. Both father and son died. How could we, as relatives and neighbors, bear to leave little Newt's body lying in that grave? Just like that. I've been the village head for 3 years now. Work as a jail and prison guard. Now there is, with these words, all join hands. Help us find a way to bring the body. Little nut up. The village elders also agreed to allocate a portion of donation fund reserved for building communal house to buy coffins for Nim's father and son. But first, we must retrieve the body. Please everyone lend me a hand, won't you? Mr. Tao, a villager, clicked his tongue and said, "Of course we'll help, we just got here." Right? It's a terrifying story for everyone. But still, we can't leave a dead body lying at the bottom of the grave. But let me be clear with you, village chief. If we can't bring it up today, then we'll have to accept the option of filling the grave and burying it right there, because there's no other way. The rest of the group also nodded in agreement. In agreement? Mr. Carr said frankly, "Yes, I understand. There's no other way. Even though I don't know how, I still hope we can give a proper burial to their father and son properly. So shall we go?" And then, afterwards, while Mr. Carr was talking with everyone, Tuan glanced toward the base of the tree he aided Nim last night, sat down. It was also the same tree that the village chief mentioned when he said Mr. Nim had sat at the time of his death beside the tree trunk. There was still a bundle of incense sticks, some of which had already burned out, stuck into the ground. Tuan felt goosebumps when he remembered it was his own hands last night that had helped Mr. Nim sit down at that very tree. Even now, Tuan still didn't dare to believe that the person Tuan met last night was actually the ghost of Mr. Nim. Yesterday afternoon, during a meeting with the village elders at the communal house, they had initially agreed to temporarily prohibit from going out to the cemetery. However, while the meeting was still ongoing, Lan Tin's son ran to communal house to announce that Mr. Nim had died. Meanwhile, they still couldn't manage to pull Nut's body up. The elders at the communal house, upon hearing the news, hurriedly left, leaving all the responsibility behind for Mr. Carr, the village chief. By dusk, after carrying Mr. Nim's body and blanketing it, Mr. Carr stopped by the house of one of the oldest elders in the village. The oldest person in the village is Mr. Dong, also, who was managing keeping the donation money to discuss arrangements for the funeral of Mr. Nim and his son. Elder Dong immediately agreed and suggested, how about finding a master to come and perform the rituals and ceremonies? However, in the past, when it came to fortune tellers, Mr. Carr was unaware. He was planning to ask around today to see if anyone in the village knew of a good master who was skilled to invite over. The ritual was the most important thing. Now priority was to figure out how to bring Nut's body up from the grave. At Mrs. Van's house, Nut had died the night before last. By today, it had already been 2 days. The story sounded unbelievable, but the truth was that yesterday afternoon, despite efforts, the villagers of Phuong Bai could not move Nut's body. Standing above, looking down into the deep grave, almost 2 meters deep, there was water at the bottom from a rain a few days ago. Nut's body was still lying face down in the grave, his arms and legs limp along the length of his body. Looking at his pale white and almost ghostly skin and grey, a foul stench rose from the grave, causing all of the villagers to shake their heads, not to mention whether it had anything to do with ghosts or the supernatural. Just the thought of literally jumping down into the grave to handle a corpse that had been soaked in water for 2 days was already something horrifying. At that moment, Mr. Carr asked, "Can someone go down there and see if there's anything we can do?" Everyone had agreed earlier to help, but now, faced with the scene, silence fell. Blaming each other, hesitating, unwilling to go down, Tuan recalled when his grandmother passed away. Mr. Nim was also there and was one of the people who dug the grave behind the garden to bury her. At that time, Mr. Nim was not sick yet. His back was still good, and he was still strong. It wasn't until later that he became sick, his back hunched over from illness, needing his wife's help to walk. Mr. Nim left the father and son. Where did he go? Tuan was scared. Of course he was scared. He was even more frightened than anyone else present here, because on the night that Nut died, Tuan was also at the cemetery. If anyone were to die after Nut, Tuan believed it would be him. Uncle Ka is right. Thinking about it, death is the end of all grudges. Uncle Nim aided my father bury my mother, so now I have to do something to repay that, and I probably don't have much time left to live either. Before I die, helping him and his son would be a good deed. Thinking that, Tuan immediately said, "Let me go down there." Uncle Ka looked at Tuan with joy. Tuan, you're really going down there? If it were just Tuan alone. Tuan is also very difficult to manage someone who can go down there with him. Tuan immediately replied, "It's okay, uncle, I just want to go down and see if I can move Nut's body. Nut is not enough. If possible, I tie a rope to it. Then you uncles and elders up here can pull it up." That's right. Tuan, spot, grave cramped for 2-3 people. Going down would get in the way. Let him go down and see how it goes. Then we'll figure it out. That's how a young man should be. You go down. If anything happens, we'll be up. This is important, father. Tuan agreed to go down the grave. Several people then feel secure, talk flatteringly, easily. His pants and sleeves slowly climb down into the grave. It was the family grave of Mrs. Van. Standing at the bottom of the grave, the stench of the waterlogged corpse was truly overwhelming and foul. Tuan had to take off his shirt to cover his nose. Little Nut, with his small skinny frame, lay curled up at the bottom of the grave, looking utterly pitiful. Tuan couldn't believe that such a small, frail body. The stakes are like that, but no one pulls them up. As Tuan wrapped his arms around Nut's body, up above, Mr. Ka and the other villagers. Above, Mr. Ka and the others looked. Their eyes were fixed intently on the scene. Not daring to blink, Tuan mumbled and moved his lips, mouth, "Shy? I'll come down to take you up. Here, come home with me, my house." With that, Tuan hugged Nut to turn him face up, when suddenly Tuan jolted in shock, because he felt something beneath the layer of mud just now. Something like a hand touched Tuan's hand. And not just one, but many hands, like. They quickly withdrew as Tuan held on to Nut's corpse. Before he could even turn the body over, suddenly one side of Tuan's right leg sank down all the way to his thigh, even though earlier it had only been up to his neck. Leg. Tuan screamed loudly. Up above, Mr. Ka and a few village guards panicked. They were startled, backing away, watching, as Tuan gradually sank into the grave. Some even panicked, pointing and shouting, pull him up, pull Tuan up, he's being dragged away." The people standing above hurriedly threw the rope down and shouted loudly, Tuan! Tuan! The rope, grab it! Reach out your hand." But standing at the bottom of the grave, Tuan froze. He braced his hands against the ground to gain leverage, used his strength to pull his leg up. Amid the bewildered stares of everyone, Tuan quickly pressed himself against the wall of the grave. His face was pale, his breathing ragged. Tuan said, "It seems like it was just a collapsed spot, so it's probably okay." The water inside the grave was being sucked down, right at the spot where Tuan's foot had just sunk, collapsed, causing almost all the water to drain away. Tuan and the others above could now see clearly. Sure enough, beneath Mrs. Van's grave, there was a deep gaping hole. No one could understand why such a fissure had appeared. However, everyone knew that this area had once gone through a period of drought in the past. Drought's a long time. Likely due to the drought, the cracked, dry belt forming in these geological layers. Now, while digging the grave, they accidentally hit one of them. Mr. Tao stood above, looking down and clicking his tongue. "It looks just like a snake den." And to think that yesterday some people went down there and didn't step into that hole. Mr. Ka let out a sigh of relief. "Tell Tuan he's lucky. He gave everyone real scare. We thought something had dragged you away. So were you able to move Nut's body or not? Can you move Nut's body? Huh?" Tuan, after regaining his composure, then finally dared to approach the corpse again. Nut's body. In fact, before his foot sank into the hole, Tuan had felt that within his arms, as he held onto Nut in the gentle arms of Nut, is a moving corpse. Can be lifted up, but not to the extent, as he said, Ka or the people in the village told. To be sure, before turning Nut over, Tuan braced and pressed foot firmly into muddy ground, while his hands gripped Nut's body. Using all his strength, Tuan flipped Nut's corpse onto its back. Everyone standing the grave looking down was stunned. Of all those standing by, above the grave looking down, Mr. Tao, the afternoon person, through being there when people try every way to, even had to rub his eyes in disbelief. Unable to believe what had just happened, Mr. Tao stammered, "Strange. It worked. It worked. How could that be? Just yesterday afternoon. Yesterday 2 people tried flipping the table. Flippable." Looking at the corpse, Tuan had already covered his nose with his shirt, but he could still smell the stench. The corpse was reeking heavily. Nut's face was covered in mud. In some areas, like the skin on his neck and abdomen, it had already started to crack and peel off. Nut's hands were slightly closed. The two palms, his body had stiffened completely. At that moment, Mr. Carr said, "All right, everyone. Now, lower the rope down to Tuan, let him tie it on. After that, we'll pull him up from up here. The grave is only about 2 meters deep, so with a few people working together, it shouldn't be too difficult." Above the grave, they gently tossed another rope down to Tuan. They showed Tuan how to loop the rope around the body of Nut's body to keep it balanced. They looped the first rope under the armpits of the corpse. The rope was then threaded around waist. After that, both ends of the rope were brought back up to the surface. 4 men stood on either side of the grave, 2 on each side, each holding one end of the rope, ready once the position is set. "All right, everyone, pull it up. Everybody," Mr. Carr looked at everyone and nodded. "Get ready. You okay?" All 4 of them responded in unison.
Got it.
"Pull evenly. You call it out, sir. 1, 2, 3, and pull. 1, 2, 3, pull." With each count, Nut's body was pulled up a little more, until the body reached the edge of the grave. At this point, Mr. Carr was already supporting Nut's head. The 4 men from the village slowly moved backward. The village man slowly walked towards After a few final moments, they managed to lift Nut's body completely out of the grave to Mrs. Van's house. Van, they also carefully brought along. Tuan was also pulled up by the authorities. Pulled up. Look at the villagers put. Tuan was reminded of the day his grandmother passed away. That year, everyone was starving and struggling. When Tuan's grandmother died, she didn't have a proper shroud to wrap her in. Mr. Carr told the person to carry 2 buckets to fetch water from the canal too. Thoroughly rinsed Nut's body. He was completely covered in mud. His face too, smeared with dirt. One of the villagers shook his head at this point, saying, "This is truly a case of falling into the grave and passing out." Fell face down into the mud, couldn't breathe and died. Another person sighed and said, "That was his fate. It was like that. That's bold. I think it's normal, yes. People died like this is what people should do. Go find a master before daring." Deep down, each of us was still a little. It's one thing that he died, but last night even his father also passed away. You might say you don't believe it. Many things do not believe true. Mr. Carr was also scared. Everyone was right. Especially Tuan, who even saw the ghost of Mr. Nim, met the ghost of Mr. Nim, Nut's father. But as the village chief, whatever happens, it all falls on my shoulders. Even when someone dies, I have to take care of it. The elders above, the villagers below. Everyone speaks. If we don't handle it in time to solve, just don't want to let people worry more. Mr. Carr immediately said, "Come on, guys. If you're scared, I'm scared too. Turn our backs on each other, can we? How could you or I just stand by and watch? It's not like he and his son still have any family left. Relatives? Then I also do not. The child has indeed died during the night, and the father passed away shortly after. They ended like that as they had no choice. We're doing a good deed, and heaven will bear witness to it. It's not like we're committing any evil or causing harm. To honor the dead is to fulfill our duty. Blaming, scolding, or lamenting won't change anything. I do feel sad, but it's only because our village remains so poor. If everyone in the village had enough to eat and wear, some savings, Nut wouldn't have to sneak out late at night, all the way to the cemetery just to hunt frogs. Frog? But if not, it wouldn't be a frog. So tragically, he was just a teenager. Though he was stubborn, it was all because he loved his father, who was often sick and ailing. I, too, wanted to call on everyone to each contribute a little, to help Nim's family with some medicine, but considering everyone is struggling, so I didn't dare speak up. The dead are already gone. Consider this the last time we help their family, so that everyone in the village can find some peace of mind. People in the village who live. Mr. Carr spoke with deep compassion, causing the others to lower their heads in silence. They knew that Uncle Carr was a good man, always concerned about the well-being of the villagers. Being the village chief was a role that never allowed him a moment's rest. He was constantly running back and forth with so much work to do that he had to neglect his household for village duties. Whenever something happened, the villagers would call for Mr. Carr first. Sick pigs, dead people, also Mr. Carr. Now, even organizing funerals for deceased fell on Mr. Carr's shoulders. Perhaps it seems that's why. Even though he was 50, Mr. Carr's hair was almost all white. He looked extremely worn and haggard. A few minutes later, Mr. Carr raised his hands. Mr. Tao immediately asked, quickly, Where did you go to fetch water that it took you so long? Mr. Carr replied. Rainwater. I was worried it might be dirty, so I had to run across the bridge to a nearby house. Request 2 buckets of clean rainwater. Carr rolled sleeves, wet cloth in water, began wiping. Down the boy's face, limbs and body. Such as the layers of mud were wiped away, they finally saw that the boy had died without closing his eyes. Mud was caked thickly in his eye sockets, his nostrils, and even inside his mouth. Mr. Carr reached out his hand to close the boy's eyes. The boy's mouth was gaping wide open, stiff and rigid. Mud was packed thick inside Mr. Carr. Had to reach into his mouth and scoop the mud out. Looking at the boy's face, Mr. Carr realized it was clear that he hadn't died from fainting. With his face pressed into the mud from his eyes, to his mouth, and even both his hands were clenched tightly, twisted in a spasm. It was clearly the expression of someone gripped by intense fear. Mr. Carr sat alone. The others were too scared, or perhaps as the boy's body was now giving off a strong odor. Then sat down, reached for a cloth, dipped it in water, and helped wipe Mr. Carr clean. Mr. Carr muttered to himself, "You must be tired after just coming back from down there. Just sit and rest. You can't leave yet. There are definitely me and the others to take care of things." Tuan replied, "I just rode down for a bit. When your grandmother passed, I remembered the day my own grandmother died. It was your family that held the shovel to dig her grave. Now that your father is like this, I have to do something to repay you." Mr. Carr just heard those words and felt a weight lift from his heart. Tuan's words moved everyone. It seemed that his words made the villagers feel a bit embarrassed. After that, they got to work tying the ropes. Someone ran off to get a mat to cover Nut's body. While wiping Nut's feet, suddenly, Tuan heard the sound of a frog croaking very close by. But when he looked around, he couldn't see any frog. Not only Tuan, but Mr. Carr and the others also heard it as well. In the room, Mr. Carr stopped and listened. "Strange, the sound is so close, but we can't see anything, can we?" It wasn't until the 3rd time that Mr. Tao reached out again, slowly toward the mat covering Nut's body. Mr. Tao said in a trembling voice, "It seems like the frog sound is coming from inside Nut's stomach." As soon as Mr. Tao just finished speaking, right? Tuan jolted, staring at Nut's body. Something suddenly leapt out from Nut's mouth. Carr and others fell backward, bracing hands. The thing that had jumped out of the corpse's mouth was a black frog. It sat proudly atop Nut's stomach. It kept croaking repeatedly like that. Seeing the black-skinned frog sitting on Nut's stomach, everyone was horrified, especially as the frog leapt out of a corpse that had been stiff for 2 days. But that wasn't the most horrifying part. After the frog escaped from inside the mouth, the thick, foul-smelling black liquid oozed out of Nut's mouth. The frog jumped straight into Mrs. Van's grave. Several people saw it crawl into the crack at the spot where Tuan's foot had previously sunk. It completely disappeared without a trace. If it hadn't been daylight, everyone would have been terrified and run away. Mr. Tao kept wondering, how did the frog manage to get inside his body? Could it be that Nut went frog hunting and died? The remaining subtitles are missing. Please provide more data. Remaining subtitles are missing context. Provide more data. Remaining subtitles lack context. Provide more data. Subtitles lack context. Need data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. Subtitles missing. Provide more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. Remaining subtitles missing context. Please provide more data. The remaining subtitles are missing. Please provide more data. Subtitles unclear. More data needed. Are we avenged by frogs? Mr. Nan, the man who just fetched water to wash Nut's body, replied, "Come on. You're overthinking everything. It only makes everyone even more scared." Mr. Tao retorted, "I tried every possible way but couldn't lift Nut's body. Today only Tuan could do it, and that black frog earlier too." "Did that frog look like a normal frog?" Mr. Nun replied, "You all were busy praying to the gods, and now you're just passing the blame onto each other." Pulled body up. Just hearing that already sounds fishy to me. A scrawny kid, 15, 16 years old, skinny, and you. If the frog found a hole to crawl into, it just crawled in. Mr. Nun argued, making Mr. Tao even more furious. "What the hell do you know? You weren't even here yesterday. Even if you think I'm lying, are you saying everyone else is lying too? Fooled? Chief witnessed it last night too. Say something, will you?" Mr. Carr was still wiping Nut down with a towel. Mr. Carr's hands were trembling uncontrollably. Frog jumping out had scared Mr. Carr badly. His heart nearly stopped. As everyone argued, Mr. Carr said, "It's true that we couldn't move Nut's body last night. As for why Tuan was able to do it, I have no idea. Could it be because Nut's family had also passed away, so Nut was spared?" Mr. Nan asked the village chief. "Nut died because he disturbed the graves while catching frogs. Dying isn't enough. Everyone must die to raise it, right?" Mr. Carr hesitantly replied, "You could understand it that way." Mr. Tao said, "This old Nan is always blaspheming. If he doesn't believe, one day it'll come back to haunt him." Mr. Tao cursed at Mr. Nan, shouting, "You bastard, Tao!" Remaining subtitles missing context. Provide more data. The remaining subtitles are missing context. Please provide more data. Remaining subtitles missing context. Please provide more data. Subtitles lack context. Provide more data. Remaining subtitles missing context. Provide more data. Subtitles lack. Need more data. Remaining subtitles missing context. Provide more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. Subtitles are missing. Give more data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. Subtitles lack data. The remaining subtitles seem to be missing context. Please provide more data. Who the hell are you cursing at? I'll beat the crap out of you. Now Mr. Tao wasn't any better, pointing his finger toward back of cemetery. Mr. Tao's face turned beet red. Then he shouted back, "I'll take on your whole damn family. You want to hit my father? You're dead. Then go down there and fight him because my father's buried over there, you hear me? If you're so tough, dig him up and fight him right now." The two of them kept arguing. The other two had to step in and break it up. Mr. Carr stood up and shouted, "Enough already. Give me a break. If you have time to argue, why not lend a hand and help carry the boy? Shy, go home with your father. This cemetery is still there, already miserable and chaotic enough without you causing even more trouble. The dead are still lying. Here the living people keep cursing and beating. Scold lightly." Mr. Carr, exhausted, let both his arms fall limply. After speaking, Mr. Carr sighed and shook his head, feeling disheartened. The two others stopped arguing. Mr. Carr cleaned Nut up, and when he was done, they wrapped Nut's body in a mat, carried him straight out of the cemetery, crossed over the bridge, and placed Nut's body onto an ox cart to bring him home. After informing and seeking the elders' approval in the village and receiving their consent, they used funds for the temple's renovation to hold the funeral for Mr. Nem and his son. The villagers and the people of Bai Ward all agreed to bury Mr. Nem and his son right on the same day because the body of Nut had been dead for 2 days and was already emitting a very strong odor. Additionally, the grave digging and burial would be done right on Mr. Nem's land, not at the cemetery. Definitely, because at the moment, no one dared to venture out there to dig a grave. Thanks to Mr. Carr's family, the burial arrangements, Nem his son went smoothly, then also stayed at Mr. Nem's house to help everyone with the preparations for the funeral, digging the grave to bury the deceased, even though Tuan was deeply worried about his own safety. If Nut had died because he dared go to the grave to catch frogs, next person to die would be Tuan himself, just as the shaman had foretold. That grave was inhabited by a demon. If they didn't quickly find a way to break the curse, the next person to unfortunately die after that boy would be Tuan. Tuan, why? Yet Tuan just stood there like a lost soul. A woman from the village gently called out. Tuan startled and replied, "Yes, I'm fine, thank you." "Have some water. You don't look well. If you're tired, rest." Aunt Fen poured water for Tuan, then said, "But, love." She poured water for Tuan again, then said. Tuan held the cup of water, but his mind was elsewhere. He was considering how, lying sick at home. Tuan muttered, "No, if I don't do something, I might end up harming How too. I have to go just over there." Tuan put down the cup and hurried back home. It was only 11 o'clock. At Chin Bei's house, it was almost noon, but Chin noticed her husband was still sleeping soundly. Chin remained worried and wanted to find Master Luong to ask. However, since morning she hadn't seen him leave his room. That morning, Chin had prepared some food. for breakfast and went up to invite him down. However, Master Luong said he wouldn't eat and would stay hidden in his room unless necessary. That's why Chin had been anxious all morning, pacing back and forth in front of the room where Master Luong was staying. Hearing the door open, Chin lit up with joy and immediately stood waiting outside. As soon as she saw Master Luong, Chin hurriedly said, "Master, there you are. I've been waiting for you. Master, why is my husband sleeping so much like this?" Master Luong sighed and gently replied, "I already told you not to worry, but your family just wouldn't listen. Your husband sleeping for so long is because last night I retrieved his soul and spirit to give her husband enough. It is necessary to have, as the old saying goes, it is often true that haste indeed makes waste. And at exactly noon today, I will help your husband expel the spirit. Once we drive it out, your husband will surely wake up and regain his health." Hearing Master Luong's words, Chin felt a sense of relief. Chin immediately asked, "Is there anything we need to prepare for the exorcism? Please just tell me. Whatever it is, I'll go buy it right away." Teacher Luong shook his head and replied, "No need. I've already prepared everything since this morning. Now we just have to wait for the right time. However, I'm feeling hungry. If there's something to eat first, that would be great indeed." Chin beamed with a bright smile. "That's easy. I've already prepared everything nicely. Just waiting for you to come down and eat. Oh, by the way, Master, when you perform the exorcism, can I come in to watch? Do you want to see it, teacher?" Teacher Luong replied, "Of course. Of course, you have to come in to join us. Talk to the spirit. Because after I leave, your family must connect to the wandering spirit until the promise is fulfilled. You must remember this carefully. In fact, when you make a promise to the living, sometimes it can be overlooked or forgiven. But once you make a promise to the dead, you absolutely must keep it. Everything that happens in this world has its own cause and effect. Within misfortune, there is blessing. Within blessing, there's also misfortune. Turning misfortune into peace, turning bad into good, all depends on each person's heart. Your family must remember these words. Why are you still worrying about it? Go downstairs and sit at the dining table." Chin Bei lifted the food cover. Was still hot. Chin had just finished cooking, setting the meal for Luong Master. "Instant salary?" asked. "No one has eaten from this meal yet, right?" Chin, startled, replied, "Yes, sir." "Ah, I just finished cooking and brought it up here. No one has eaten yet. In this house, it's my husband, me and you. The little girl, Quinn, is at school, return afternoon." "What's the matter? Is something wrong, Master?" Chin looked confused. So Master Luong quickly said, No, nothing's wrong at all. I just want you to scoop out a separate bowl of rice and use a plate to pick out some food onto it. A little bit of each dish, along with a cup of water, and place it on a tray. Later, bring it into the room." Chin asked, "Master, are you setting aside a meal for my husband? Is it me?" Mr. Luong immediately replied, "I told you, just do it. It will be clear later. Oh, by the way, lit stick of incense. A bowl of rice, just fill it up to the rim." "Yes, sir." Chin immediately went to prepare everything. Once it was ready, Chin placed it all onto a tray. By this time it was already 11:30 a.m. Preparing the meal took about 10 minutes. Master Luong ate very little, just half a bowl of plain rice without touching his chopsticks to any savory dishes. After eating, Master Luong went out to the yard, shielding his eyes and looking up at the sky. The weather today was sunny and quite stuffy. With his hands clasped behind his back, Master Luong walked back into house. The clock showed 11:45. Exactly 15 minutes left until noon. Master Luong said to Chin, "Now go and close all the doors. From the gate to the main door, the windows, the back door, all the doors on the upper floors. Light incense in ancestral altar room, bow and pray, and after you're done, down here." Chin hurried upstairs to close the doors. After closing all the doors in the house, Chin lit the incense, bowed, prayed, done, went downstairs, where she saw Master Luong setting up food inside the room. Chin's husband was lying down. Master Luong set up a table next to the bed, where Chin's husband was lying. Placing the bowl of rice Chin held on the left side of the table, Master Luong placed the food on the right side. Plates, cups, water, and chopsticks were arranged. The bowl of white rice was placed in front, and next to the rice bowl, the master placed a bowl of raw rice. A candle was also set on the table. Chin stepped inside. "Master, I finished closing all the doors. Master." "Love is beautiful. Thuong, come inside and close the room door. Sit down at this end of the table. When I ask, Please let me know how you would like me to answer this question. You answer. Chin closed the door to the room. As the door closed, the room went completely dark. Master Luong lit. Fire burns candle, fix candle. Master Luong moved toward the head of the bed. One hand pressed against the philtrum, while the other hand pressed at Bai Hui acupoint. He maintained this for about 30 seconds. While holding it, Master Luong murmured under his breath, which Chin, unfortunately, couldn't clearly hear due to the surrounding noise and distractions. After finishing the chant, Master Luong placed Chin's husband's head back into a proper position and turned to sit down again at the table where the food was placed. Water, cups, rice, candles, and incense. He stuck an incense stick into the bowl of rice. Chin saw Master Luong take out a silver bell. The night before, he had placed the bell on the table. Master Luong then took out a small wooden box, about half the size of a hand. When he opened the box, inside was a figurine, a cloth figurine wrapped with 5 colored threads. There was a small yellow talisman stuck onto the lid of the wooden box. Master Luong sat cross-legged, his left hand held in front of his chest, his right hand holding the silver bell, his eyes closed. With each chant he would shake the bell once. After shaking the bell 3 times, Master Luong opened his eyes and looked toward the bed, then said, "Evil spirits and dark entities harming the homeowner, I can remove you from this person's body and shatter you into pieces. The lingering traces of your spirit would prevent you cannot be reborn. But love sees. There are underlying reasons behind this matter. I shall allow you to temporarily borrow the homeowner's body to speak." After saying this, Master Luong shook the silver bell 3 more times. On the bed, Chin's husband suddenly sat up. He sat on the bed facing Master Luong. His arms hung loosely at his sides. His back was straight, and his legs were pressed together. However, his eyes stayed shut. He was still asleep. Seeing her husband suddenly sit up, Chin was startled, her heart leaping in fright. The flame of the candle flickered gently. Incense smoke billowed thickly. Master Luong pointed at the bowl of rice just in front of him, then said, "The head of the household has set aside a portion of rice for you to eat." The sound of a silver bell rang out. However, Chin did not see her husband move or do anything at all. He remained sitting still in one spot. The only thing moving in the room at that moment was the incense smoke. But then something strange happened as smoke from 3 burning incense sticks drifted completely toward Chin's husband. The white smoke enveloped Chin's husband's body. In this way, Chin's husband inhaled all the incense smoke. When the incense burned out, that was when Chin's husband opened his eyes. His eyes were wide open, but only the whites were visible. He stared at Master Luong. Seeing him like that, Jinbei was utterly bewildered as well, but could only sit still. Everyone waiting for Master Luong. Master Luong reassured Chin, "Don't worry. I am temporarily summoning the spirit to ask some questions. For this, I need to temporarily borrow your husband's body. Don't panic." After saying that, Master Luong placed both of his palms on the table. In Master Luong's hands, there was nothing. But somehow, over on the bed, Chin saw her husband suddenly curl, his legs up, face down, with his knees and hugging legs, sitting curled up, trembling violently, his expression showing extreme fear. At that moment, Master Luong at this moment said, "I don't want to harm you, my family and the fate that brought you here, learning about the matter of Master of House, have compelled me to step in and help. Evil and good, metal Trey Yang are different, can't coexist. You are a wandering spirit of the dead, while the Master of the House is still among the living. If you continue to possess this person's body, he will have his soul and spirit seized by you. This will cause you to accumulate more karmic debts, trapping you in evil karma, making it harder to attain rebirth. I want to help you have a chance to turn back. Tell me why you have to explain." Attached to the body of the homeowner, still trembling uncontrollably, Chin's husband clutched his head with both hands and collapsed to the ground. Chin heard her husband stammering, "I really want to go home. I absolutely want to go home right now. So much. I want to go home." The voice, when heard clearly, was not her husband's voice. Husband? It's a man's voice. It was a strange voice. Chin had never heard it before. "Go home? Where is your home?" The spirit inside Chin's husband's body replied, "Please, I don't know. I just followed the bracelet." he took from me, that he unjustly and unfairly. The flame of the candle flickered gently. Master, Luang placed both palms face down lightly, gently and softly asked, "Do you remember your name?" Hoàng Xuân Thanh, position, squad leader of Company 1, Battalion 375 Regiment, Infantry Division 304, died in approximately 1979. I want to go home. I want to go home. I really absolutely and definitely want to go home. The malevolent spirit kept repeating, "I want to go home." Along with that were sounds of teeth, grinding, moaning and growling, growing increasingly intense. The flame of the candle began to flicker, growing stronger each moment. Sensing that escalating, Master Luang sat cross-legged, sitting upright, with both hands open, palms facing directly toward Chin's husband. In an instant, 9 seen from the palm of the teacher's hand, the light shone brightly, emanating outward. At the same moment, the evil spirit inside the body of Chin's husband stopped grinding his teeth and growling. At this moment, Master Luang said, "It is time now for you to leave the Master's body. I have prepared a figurine for you to inhabit. You can attach your soul to it. This figurine has been enchanted, woven with 5 colored threads. Here are the Master and his wife. They will help you fulfill your final wish. Your wish." Turning to look at Chin, Master Luang asked, "Do the Masters agree to help this person named this Hoàng Xuân Thanh completes the heart?" Chin B quickly knelt down, lightly, bowing his head to the ground, kowtowing as he said, "I promise. I swear I will do my utmost, only hoping that, hey, husband and children are fine. The Master has made such a promise all along. The Master has been a kind-hearted person, never harming anyone. Over the past few years, you have caused their family to live in misery, neither alive nor dead. Now, it's time to let go. I will also help you fulfill your wish to return home." As Master Luang finished speaking, Chin saw her husband twitch slightly, then sit cross-legged, neatly, with both hands clasped together in front of his chest. Master Luang closed his eyes and then said loudly, "The soul, often considered the core essence of a person, profoundly influences our thoughts, emotions, and actions." Gathering, a wisp of white smoke rose from the top 9 heads. Just in about a second, Chin could clearly see a human face. Within that wisp of smoke, the smoke drifted toward Master Luang, joining the human-shaped figure that Master Luang had placed inside a wooden box. He closed the box. On the bed above, Chin's husband collapsed onto the bed. Chin hurriedly ran over to support her husband, laying his head on the pillow. Master Luang checked his breathing and took his pulse. Looking at Chin, Master Luang nodded carefully. "The exorcism is complete. From now until the afternoon, your husband will regain consciousness the evil spirit possessed." Her husband is indeed a man. Chin began tidying up the things. Outside, Chin placed the bowl of rice, the plate of food, and the glass of water onto the tray. Seeing the rice still untouched, Chin regretfully asked, "Can this rice still be eaten, Master?" Master Luang shook his head and replied, "No, I already told your family that this rice must be thrown away. It must not be eaten nor given to livestock or pets. The food has been tainted by negative energy. It's completely spoiled." Looking at the untouched bowl of white rice and the plate of food that was also left alone, yet Master Luang insisted it was spoiled. Chin didn't believe it, so he asked, "What do you mean by that? The food still looks completely untouched. Earlier you said that spirit ate it, but my husband didn't eat any of it. He didn't even lay a finger on it. How could it possibly be spoiled?" Master Luang smiled and replied, "It's exactly the kind of thing that ordinary people can't see." Her husband sat silently, not touching his chopsticks. "However, this rice is consumed by the spirit world. Don't believe it? Just take the tray of rice outside and you'll see for yourself." Chin carried the portion of rice outside and placed the tray on the dining table, then turned back into room to bring out bowl of rice, the candle, only to find that the bowl of white rice had turned yellow and showed signs of being mushy and spoiled and gave off a foul smell. The plate of food was also in a spoiled state, even though just a minute earlier everything had been perfectly normal. Chin got goosebumps and stammered as he spoke to Master Luang. "Master, the rice, it's really, how could it turn out like this?" Master Luang immediately replied, "I told you already. That portion of rice had been used by a spirit. This spirit belonged to someone who died many years ago. A wandering soul. That's why yin energy was quite strong. When I indeed summoned the spirit and invited it to eat the offering, your family couldn't see it, but I clearly saw the spirit of the deceased consume portion of rice. In a normal offering, when the food is presented later, the incense lights and food eaten tasteless. It's nothing serious. Just throw it away. And that's it. Once done, come back here so we can have a talk to me. From the time Mr. Luong came to Chin's house, eye-opening, previous stories, seeing with his own eyes and hearing with his own ears. It left him restless, making Chin change his way of thinking. 2 years ago, while searching for a healer and medicine to cure her husband, Chin came to Puvan village. When she heard the locals there talk about the Chinese master who could summon rain and wind, who had the art of feng shui and knew how to use a set of spells to drive away demon rats, had been summoned to lift the misfortune of an entire village. Chin listened, but responded, doubting rural folk tend to exaggerate everything. But by fate, she met the master and witnessed what Master Long did, and Chin felt foolish and ashamed for daring to doubt the virtue and merit of the master. She carefully went to dispose of the leftover rice. Chin went back into the house. Master Luong was sitting and drinking tea. On the tea table there was a wooden box containing a human-shaped figurine. Chin stammered, I've finished, master. If you have anything to teach me, please go ahead. Please have a seat, Master Luong said. Chin pulled out a chair and sat down. The master, Luong, touched the box, his eyes filled with affection. With his other hand, he gently stroked his silver beard. Master Luong continued, exorcising a spirit is the easy part. Fulfilling a promise to the dead is what's truly difficult. The final wish of that spirit is now clear to both you and me. Moreover, according to what the spirit said, he said he also took something from him. Specifically, it was a bracelet. That is the real reason why this spirit has been following your husband for these years. We don't yet know whether your husband did it intentionally or by accident, but once you take something from the dead, like, the consequences can be dire. Fortunately, nothing has had to lose their life. Chin stammered and explained, Master, I swear I had no idea about that bracelet. My nature may be just rough, and I might look fierce, but heaven above and earth below can bear witness. All my life I've never been greedy for anything that doesn't belong to me. My husband respected that even more. My husband truly isn't cunning type, but he lives by strong principles. Even in business, he's always clear-cut. Never cheats anyone, not even for a single coin. There must be some misunderstanding here, because I don't believe my husband and children stole anything, especially from someone who has passed away. Master Luong immediately reassured her. Calm down. I was only putting forth the hypothesis, not making any kind of decide your husband is a thief or a rob. From what I can see of your household, I know you're quite well off. The way you treat the staff at the rice shop doesn't suggest that you're someone who may be outspoken, but you have a good heart. Your husband, when I looked at his physiognomy, I also saw a kind face, well-balanced features. He's not a bad person. That's why I agreed to help your family. Now listen to me. After your husband regains consciousness, the first thing you need to do is return the bracelet. Return to the owner. Here is the soul. It is absolutely imperative that it be returned. Wherever the bracelet was stored must be taken out. If it was given to someone, it must be retrieved. I suspect the bracelet is somewhere in this very house. That spirit followed your husband. Her husband also, because her husband kept... If the spirit could have borrowed your husband's body for just a little longer, I could have asked more questions. But your husband only just now regathered his soul and spirit last night, so I didn't dare take the risk. That's the first matter. As for the second matter, after returning the couple's bracelet, you must take the box containing this cloth-wrapped object back to the place where the man named Hoàng Xuân Thanh died. Finally, if fate allows, I hope you and your husband can find his hometown or his relative, the Taoist. Recover his remains, that would be best. If not, then please kindly return the bracelet to them. Thank you. Chin felt dizzy and lightheaded upon hearing this. Chin hadn't expected so many things to do. Chin stammered. But master, how will we know where the person died? Where do people die? Move the ring. As for transporting it and searching for a martyr's remains like that, I feel it's all very unclear. Master Leon gently continued. If things were easy, then nothing in this world would be considered difficult. From the very beginning, I made it clear to your family and laid out the exorcism plan. If you think it's difficult, then it will be. But if you think of it simply, there will definitely be a way to resolve it. For now, things have progressed this far. When your husband wakes up, we need to clarify the matter regarding the bracelet and this box. For now, I'll keep it. After I leave this place, I'll return it to your family. Master Leon put the box away. Dean Shadow glanced outside toward the yard, where there was a small garden planted with various herbs. Pointing toward the garden, Master Leon instructed Chin. Earlier I noticed that in your garden there's a rather lush patch of basil and even a pomelo tree such as. While you have some free time, go out there and pick some basil along with a handful of pomelo leaves. Boil them to make bathwater for your husband. Pick a good amount. Boil plenty of water and use that water to clean the entire house. This is a effective way to cleanse negative energy, bad spirits. In your husband's room, when he wakes up, perhaps, things like old blankets and pillows should no longer be used. You must open all the windows to let the air circulate. I'm feeling a little bit sleepy. I'll go upstairs to rest for a while. When your husband wakes up, you should call me. The pain, the headache came rushing back. This time, Master Leon could feel a mild pain before it turned into severe pain. Not wanting him to see his pained expression, Master Leon used the excuse of being sleepy and hurried upstairs, with both hands gripping the stair railing as he walked. Master Leon was also thinking, it's because I defied the will of heaven by using the heavenly divination table, also known as the renowned in Fuangbai village. By now, it was already 1 p.m. After returning home, he crawled under the bed, took out all the money he had saved up over the past few years, planning to bring it to Fuangia village, ask shaman exorcism ritual to banish the demon. He stopped by Mrs. Howe's house. After opening the gate, he asked Tuan, Tuan, are you Uncle Tuang's nephew, over at the funeral of Neem's father and son? Tuan immediately replied, I'm going home to get something, and then I'll head back. By the way, Uncle, how is Hao doing? Is he still very sick? Mrs. Howe sighed deeply. Still the same, dear. He's not even eating or drinking anymore. He just lies there in a daze, mumbling something out loud. Tuan asked, How? What did Hao say? Did you hear him clearly, Auntie? Mrs. Howe shook her head and replied, He just groans and moans. I couldn't make out the thing. I was thinking of calling a cyclo this afternoon to take him to the clinic so they can check him properly. I won't be able to attend the funeral. If anything comes up, please let Mr. Kha know for me, will you? Now, come inside. It's really sunny out here. Why are you still standing outside? Tuan said goodbye to Mrs. Howe and hurried off under the rather harsh sunlight. As he ran, Tuan blamed himself as he ran. I've caused trouble for Hao, but why am I still okay while Hao is seriously ill like this? Could it be because of Mr. Kha's tabby cat dying, and now it's just affecting other people too? Grandma, I feel so guilty and unfilial. I still couldn't make a beautiful grave. Grandma, may you be buried in peace and beauty. Grandma, please wait for me a little more time. It was almost 3 in the afternoon. Though it had been sunny at noon, for some reason it got closer to early afternoon. Sky turned gloomy, like it was about to rain. The crying had gone on non-stop since morning till Mr. Ko and neighbors from Puong Bay village had finally completed the burial for Mr. Neem and his son properly. The 2 graves were in inside small plot of land behind the house, where everyone was piling up neat layers of square-shaped cassava mud. In the end, the person shaping the graves had to make them flat with the mounds balanced and symmetrical, aesthetically pleasing. Mr. Neem wiped the sweat from his brow, heaved a sigh and said, Almost done. Just smooth it out a bit more. Fill in each gap with some wet mud and it'll be good. What about the gravestones? Mr. Kha immediately replied, I ordered the gravestones from the same place that made the coffins, but they said they won't be ready until tomorrow. It was too rushed. After finishing the 2 coffins, they had to try their best. Thank you, everyone. Without the help from the Trung family, I don't know how to turn around if I need help. How is it? Some other people's love. Immediately said, about the village story, I have something to say. So how dare we, refuse? Not afraid is not right, but right. To fend for themselves like that. Like that. Everyone has to face death at some point in life. We've been poor for so many years already. But should we discard our neighborly bonds out of fear? How could we live with ourselves like that? Don't you think I'm right, everyone? Mrs. Carr said, as she often does. Then wouldn't that make us seem like outsiders? Even though there's a lot to do and it's hard? If everyone lends a hand, we'll get it done somehow. Mr. Tao nodded and said, what Mrs. Tin said is absolutely right. Funeral rites are the final act of respect. Hide anything from you, ladies and gentlemen. Besides the meaning, I was scared too. I almost soiled my pants. But then I saw young Tuan and Elder Ka here didn't hesitate at all, and that made me feel ashamed. Ghost stories, tales of spirits, are they real or not? Is it true or not? But the story, people in this village since his time, our father is indeed the real one. People helped each other out, so now, help each other. Then we are now. We're not exactly living in comfort either. But the tradition of mutual support locals must absolutely be preserved. Right, Mr. Ka? Mr. Nim clicked his tongue. Now that's the right way to put it. Just right. Then this morning outside the meaning. Sorry, I misspoke. Please ignore it. If you're free tomorrow, come over to my place for a drink. For a glass of wine. Mr. Tao laughed and replied, yes, it's my fault. Your fault, her fault. Both sides share the blame. Please allow me to apologize to everyone in the village as well. Let's put it behind us, all right? The two other people present also thought, that's right, you two should shake hands and make peace. Your children are all grown now. Arguing like that just makes people laugh at you. Mr. Carl looked around at the villagers. At the center of funeral, digging grave and burying Mr. Neem's father, he felt a sense of warmth. Just a few evenings ago, everyone had been terrified, completely shaken. But today, upon hearing the news that Neem's body had been recovered, the elders in the village also agreed to allocate funds for the funeral of Mr. Neem and his father. It was necessary to mobilize community to join forces the burial process. At first, Mr. Carr thought everyone was too afraid to come. But unexpectedly, a large number of people showed up. Thanks to that, so the task of digging graves burying is happened. Advantageous, which is highly beneficial and extremely advantageous. Thank you to our dear audience for tuning in. We respectfully say goodbye to you all and look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of the story.